Showa. Heisei.
No, thank you. We're in
Which
Reiwa.
side are you on?
We're on Reiwa now. What the fuck? Heisei. We're on Reiwa. What?
You know, right?
I'm like, what are you talking about? No, they're both old. Ew. Old. Ew.
Yeah.
You're both old. What are you talking about?
What we're talking about is
what are we talking about?
Yeah, what we're talking about is the Civil War we've all been waiting for back in 2014. That is Heisei Rider versus Showa Rider, Kamen Rider Taisen, featuring Super Sentai. And yeah,
oh, it'll be an old town in Dixie tonight. I can remember. So ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this was during the whole Sentai Rider Wars. This was really during a lot of war times.
Oh yeah, no.
We had Hero Tyson. We had the Kamen Riders. We had it was literally Civil War. Let's just put
and just 2 years later, we would actually have Captain America Civil War.
Yeah, not to mention, we also had in the comic book Civil War was going on. The movie Civil War was going on.
Batman v Superman, the movie.
Yeah, there was a lot of war going on back then. Mm-hmm. A lot of 1,000-yard stares.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know what I find really interesting is, I remember when the movie Captain America Civil War came out. Gakusano actually was interviewed, and he was asked, "Which side are you on? Are you Team Captain or Team Iron Man?" And Sano actually said, "I'm siding with Captain America." So I actually made this meme where you got Steve Rogers and from the helicarrier. And Tony from like the Stark Tower towards the end of the Avengers movie, where it's like, we got Gaim. What do you have? It's like, yeah, well, we got Shin. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like, we got the Hulk. Yeah. Well, now did Shun Kazumatsuri actually side with Iron Man? I don't know. I don't think he was interviewed, but it'd be funny if he was Team Iron Man, because that would make my joke work even better.
Can I just say that I know that there was that whole, for those who don't know the actual story of Civil War, just to wrap it up in one quick little go, it was pretty much the heroes are, do we know who you are or do we not know who you are? It was basically a battle of identities, which is exactly what this movie is about. Mm-hmm. Because even though we're not battling to know who the Kamen Riders are, because let's be honest, that's not really a secret that's in any Rider series at all. Because we know who they are. Everyone knows who they are, everyone knows who Takumi Inoue is. Everyone knows who Eiji is. Everyone knows who just the list goes on. The thing is that you're fighting for your identities to be a rider. And that's pretty much what the Civil War was, which is the identity to be a hero. Mm-hmm. Or to have your rights as a hero. And again, that's also a thing that's here, because like there's one side that says you are not being the hero, and then there's another side that's like, we are the heroes, but you're not going at the way we do it, or following our rules. And it's just like it literally is old versus new. Do you keep the secrets, or do you adapt with the time? That's pretty much what this is about.
Yeah, well, in the actual Civil War, what happened was some dude got blown up, people died. Then there was this whole like Patriot Act where superheroes had to register themselves and oust their identities. Sort of
Yeah.
like, this is our way of being accountable. But the thing is, it also means that you have to deputize yourself and limit yourself to very specific
Yeah.
restrictions that the world government
Yeah.
will put you under.
Yeah.
And, we could go into more detail because, I'm going to be honest, the movie kind of explains it better than the comics did. But of course, it got to the point where, like, you got two sides fighting each other between heroes and villains. And, like, it comes down.
But the two main characters were both heroes.
Yeah. And like, they really played up, like, which side are you on? And like they really try to make it like really make it out that, like, you could really root for both sides because, like, they both have a good point. But it all comes, but much
in the beginning, Michael. In the beginning,
in the beginning.
But
Yeah.
I mean, let us be honest. Like, towards the middle and then way towards the end, Tony Stark was just an ass through and through. Like,
Yeah.
I get it.
And it all comes down to Spider-Man in the very middle, just like how in the Robot Chicken DC special, you like everyone from the Justice League and the Legion of Doom is taken out, and it just comes down to Superman on one side, Lex Luthor on the other side, and in the middle you got Aquaman holding a large chunk of kryptonite.
Yeah.
And so it's like, who will like Aquaman's next decision will determine the fate of both sides. Much the same, it was like Spider-Man, but unfortunately, Spider-Man ousting himself would, mind you, under pressure from someone else.
Yeah.
It results in someone trying to assassinate Peter Parker, which results in Aunt May getting killed, which results in a deal with Mephistopheles, which unfortunately leads to one of the worst comic books of all time that still hasn't been retconned.
Yeah, everything else has been retconned except that. God knows why.
And to make matters worse, there's a Civil War II, which makes even less sense. Because now it's Iron Man versus Marvel's Captain Marvel. More specifically, not Marvel, but Carol Danvers. Yeah.
And it's not because they're keeping no. It's because it boils down to the death of someone they loved.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Which I'm like, but it wasn't their fault.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Mad Tyrant's fault. Mm-hmm. But still, I'm like, yeah, let us stop there, because I'm like, afterwards I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Well, basically, contrary to what might appear like visual, like stick with while it is Tony versus Carol, and Tony does come back as one of the two big heads. No, Tony's the new Steve. Just to be clear, Tony's the new Steve. Yeah. But this time, like, they didn't take as much effort to show why Carol might be in the right, like they did with the first Civil War. So no, like we're like Team Tony all the way with the second
in the sagas. Like, there's the Fantastic Four saga, there's the Spider-Man saga, there's this saga. There's like so many. I'm just like, wow. Shit.
And moving on to Kamen Rider. Okay, it's like this movie. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Maybe it's because I'm getting old, but I'm getting really tired of like superhero Taisen movies, because it's like you want to like have as much fan service as possible.
I'm gonna be honest with you and be honest with our fans. When I first heard about the Taisen movie, I thought to myself, okay, all right. And then I saw it, and then I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
What the hell was that? And I know a lot of people will say that, oh my god, but I mean, they had like that final battle, and it was so cool because they were like, you saw the Jetmen flying around, you saw Heisei flying around, you saw them. That's the point, man. That's the point. is
You
that
showed
you
all the
had,
best
you
clips
had
in the trailer.
everybody there, especially with this movie. Because this movie starts right in the middle of something, only to go back a week later.
All right, well, I'm not a huge fan personally of the whole 3 weeks earlier teaser thing. I feel like, we should start our stories where they begin, not start them where they get interested. Get out. What?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Because I said, you know what? I get it.
Mhm.
I know, but holy crap, man.
Mhm.
Because I was like, so what's the and again, with the Taisen movies, I said one is enough. One is enough. That's it. No more. One's enough.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even watch the second one, like
No,
Superhero Taisen Z, the one with the metal
why
heroes.
I said it was that. Like, that's why I was like the first Tyson movie. I walked out. I'm like, wow, okay,
Yeah,
what?
like 2013, 12, 2013, like that was the ballpark where I pretty much just like stopped keeping track of the movies because I just couldn't.
And again, even here, like when you see the title of this movie, and then you see the small bottom part of it that it says also including Super Sentai. Where?
Where? Like
Why?
you mean in
Why?
the end? You mean at the end?
Why did you include Kyoryuger and Tokyuger? Why did you do that?
I find it funny how last week we talked about like how like what if the spring break special took place during Kyoryuger instead?
And this is what we get.
This is what we get.
I mean, I will say, well, I mean, we'll get there when we get there, but I'm like, why? This is, here's the thing. Watching this movie, I mean, again, I've never seen Gaim. What you're seeing me react to is the first time I'm watching Gaim in its entirety on this show.
Mm-hmm.
The fact of the matter is that I'm watching this movie and I ask myself, okay, so far I get the hype on Gaim. I do.
Mm-hmm.
But what on earth is this? Where it's like, I mean, okay, we're going on the anniversary and we're dealing with, but now you're just trying to make another Tyson movie. This is like unofficially Tyson Superhero Tyson 3, because you did have to add outside superheroes that were not part of this franchise.
Yeah, and mind you, there'll be another one next year.
Oh man. But
with Sango.
But I mean, again, you could have done this movie as its own movie. I don't know why you had to incorporate it with Gaim. I really don't, because think about it. I know, our people know that when the movie when it goes on, it's Decade. And then it goes on, then it goes W. And then from W, we go into Phase for like a good 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it goes into like, oh, hey, wait a minute. This is a Gaim movie. Do you remember Gaim was here? Like, oh, crap. I forgot Toto was here. And, oh, that's right. Baron's here too. And apparently Michi and Zangetsu were here too.
Are also here.
I'm like, oh, hey. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
This is a Gaim movie. I would have been like, bro, this is like Forza.
You know what's funny? Sound like we talk.
Why? Talk to me. It's good to see you again, my friend. It is really good to see you again. I love the hair. I really do. But oh my God.
You know what's funny?
It could have been anyone else. It could have been random, like it could have been Lobster Mommy for all I care. Why are you giving a damn about Misato? Especially how he's talking to you in this movie.
in this movie.
I'm like,
Okay,
I'm like,
you know what's fun? You know what's fun? You know what's especially funny? Like, it's like anyone, like if anyone's watching our podcast when we were doing Fies, who has watched all of Kamen Rider in order, like
if you have seen Fies, for those who know,
Mhm.
and if you know the relationships in that show, I'm like, you could have brought in Kaido, you could have brought in Mari, which we do kind of have a Mari in this movie. You could have brought Yuka, you could have brought Keitaro, you could have brought any of the miscellaneous people that came to the laundry.
You know what's interesting? You know what's interesting is how like I would totally get why Yuka is not there because the character is dead. But
I know.
But
also, when did this happen?
Kiba's actor didn't die yet. You could have totally used him.
Yeah. What also when did this happen? The whole Fies thing. When did that happen?
Yeah, so
like you totally shot a whole new scene that had nothing to do with the canon. Well, again, it's Fies. When does canon actually fucking count?
So as I was saying, anyone who's actually watched all the shows and movies in order, like they did Japanese, presumably would have. Watching our review, like if you watched our discussion of Paradise Regained, you're probably wondering why'd you skip what happened in Superhero Taisen? Why'd you skip Kamen Rider Sanga? Why'd you skip Kamen Rider Yongo? This is why. Because it has almost no significance to the grand scheme of Kamen Rider fights. And like, yes, like Yongo might focus a lot on fights and would explain some, not a lot of stuff, things that happened between the end of Fies and the start of Paradise Regained.
Oh man!
But the thing is, it's like this is a Gaim focused movie. Technically, that is a dry focused movie. That is a dry focused special.
I mean, it's kind of like Kota and Gaim were just kind of an afterthought in the whole pretenses because we're focusing on Ichigo, Decade, Fies, Double for a bit,
and X,
and just and then finally it's like at the last 20 minutes that's like hey Gaim, there's a guy, it's Gaim, and then in the last 8 minutes we deal with let's just get into this because oh my god, if I had my pitcher to drink, I would have just been out of it.
It's like watching the other Titanic animated film.
Oh no! Why did you bring that up? Okay, were you watching JonTron? Were you watching like JonTron or fucking Angry Video Game Nerd? Because I was like, what? Why?
It's funny. It's like I actually showed both Nostalgia Critic reviews for the two animated films. Like first the one with the talking dog, with the rapping dog, and then the one with the octopus. And though we didn't discuss the sequel, I did mention yes, the one with the octopus has a sequel. But right now, the two of us are watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, and what's funny is that a couple of days ago we got to see the episode where, like, in the closing skit, they dubbed over Noah and his AI dog with audio clips from It's like, if it wasn't for you, I would be someone else's digested. And she's like, no, is this? Don't tell me this is. Hey, I'm gonna tell you what to do, so you can just chill out, relax. And she's like, no.
Yeah, no.
I actually used it. How would he even know?
Insert the Steve Carell flip right there. Go, no.
You know, yeah,
But
no, I
yeah,
actually should download that. But yeah,
let's get into this movie. We start off with the classic crashing of the waves and the Toei logo. Never gets old. That logo
never gets old.
Never gets old.
They changed it recently, though.
I know, that sucks.
It's like, I know you're trying to do the whole like retro, like, calligraphy.
Yep. I mean, it looks cool, but I'm like, come on. That's like
it doesn't have the same feel.
That's like if you watch a Godzilla movie and you don't see the Toho, like the classic Toho, but I'm like, is it really a Godzilla movie? No.
Unless we're talking about the animated series.
Wow. You know, it's kind of like even like watching Star Wars when you hear the fanfare of 20th Century Fox. Is it really a Star Wars movie if you don't hear the 20th Century Fox fanfare? I'm looking at you.
It definitely doesn't feel like a Power Rangers movie without the 20th Century Fox fanfare.
It really doesn't. We start off this movie with a fight between Stronger and Kabuto.
Tale as old as time.
Which is kind of like, yeah, I've heard the arguments about like, you know, well, they're kind of, I'm like, they're based off of a certain beetle, but they're not really the same. I mean, you can argue that maybe it was an inspiration, but
I mean, if anything, Dark Kabuto would be closer to, or even Gattack, really.
I mean, it's like, well, I mean, it could be an inspiration, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know what. I mean, here's the thing: we're now during old versus new, and even though the Heisei Riders are like by this point considered ancient by today's standards and today's fan, did you really have a hard time fighting Stronger Kabuto, especially how they hype you up being like the most state-of-the-art Kamen Rider?
Dude gets stopped time. He's the most overpowered writer. Literally, for him to a cameo.
I'm like, okay, so Stronger, I get. I mean, he is like, you know, he is OP as well, but I'm like, Kabuto? I mean, here's like some people, it's like Fies with his techniques. I'm like, how are you having such a difficult time when
it's like this for Kabuto to even cameo in any crossover movie, and that includes the 40th anniversary Let's Go Rider Kick when we do O's. They have to nerf him by 99.9999999%, by which I mean
a lot of these riders
he has to literally just stand there, look pretty, and take it.
I know a lot of these riders get nerfed in terms of their abilities, and I'm like, okay, I'm not saying that the older ones don't stand a chance.
Go all out, you wouldn't even need the other 29 riders from this movie.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying that like, you know, I'm not saying that like, you know, the older riders don't stand a chance, but I mean, like, it's kind of like.
But to say that Kabuto has struggled this much,
like that's totally a handicap right there. But regardless, you know, we have, you know, and of course, apparently,
Kabuto defeats him, but Sky shows up. I'm like, Kabuto and Sky Rider at the beginning of a movie, tale as old as time.
Sky Rider shows up and just nerfs him, but then Sky Rider is fighting Heisei
with his double rockets of all things.
Double rockets, when did that? Well, I mean, besides the movie, but apparently Sky Rider gets nerfed, and then here comes
Shinzo Sasagio.
And you know what? It's like.
Yeah, there's even memes where Gaiman's like, Decade, they summoned Jay. What do we do? Shinzo Sasagio.
I mean, we had an Attack on Titan moment with both Gaim and Heisei fighting against Jay, because I'm just like, Oh yeah, well yeah, that's true. Jay could turn into a giant. I mean,
The J stands for Jumbo.
yeah. So I'm like, all right. And so we go into that whole thing, and he summons Watermelon, and apparently I assume he beats Jay, but then we find out Q credits 1 week later.
Earlier.
Either
All right,
or, I'm like,
I'm not a huge fan personally of the whole 3 weeks earlier teaser thing. I feel like, we should start our stories where they begin, not start them where they get interested.
Get out.
What?
yeah, no joke. I don't like it when movies, especially when Japanese movies do that a lot. They do that a lot, which I'm like, okay, I guess.
As much as I rag on 2010 Movie War, mind you, it's mostly because of that opening fight scene. But to that opening fight scene's credit, at least it wasn't a flashback.
Yeah. No, I know. And that's kind of like my my thing with it, because I'm like, well, okay, fine. But then we go into this whole thing about like, so there's this boy, this little boy that is just wandering about for some fucking reason,
And he can flip things like it's Inception.
Yeah. It's just like, wait, what? But of course, we have to have Kota and Mai.
Just randomly stumbling around.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is a Gaim movie. Right. Just to let you know, this is totally Gaim. It's Gaim. Okay? Because Mari, like freaking Kota and Mai are here. So it's a Gaim movie. All right. I didn't think I need to be like, badgered with that,
So they follow this kid around, and like they find a crack. At first they thought it might have been an invis, but they end up inside a crack where it's like, oh my god, Japan is up in the sky. It's like we're in Digimon or something. And
yeah.
And of course it's like once they reach the boy, it's like they return to the flip-flop world, and it's like, oh, they're surrounded by the Badana army. Oh, hey, it's those guys we previously seen, but you audience members wouldn't know for another day or two.
So, wait, did this movie come out before?
Remember, this movie takes place after the spring break special, but came out a day before the spring break special.
What? Wait.
Like I said, they should have waited a week to release this movie.
Are you telling me? Because I was like, oh, it's these guys from the spring special. You're telling me that the people of Japan and even the fans met these guys, the Baron Underground Empire, before they officially debuted again?
Well, if you were around 1984,
you would have already. That's what I mean. Like, so I mean, if you were around 84 and you knew about that, well, okay. But then it's like, so their reintroduction was in the spring movie, which didn't happen until the week after this movie. So technically,
the day after,
from the movie that they were trying to get back.
No, the spring movie. The spring break special aired on television the day after this movie came out in theaters. But
and who the heck was hitting the socket with scheduling?
So basically, if you want to watch these two things in chronological order, you will have to not watch the movie on its opening night, and you have to wait to watch it Sunday afternoon or evening.
Oh boy.
Hence me saying they should have released the movie a week later so that they would have seen the spring break special first and then watch the movie.
Yeah, why the heck did we get two random mole guys if they had these like They literally had like, you know, a cool mohawk looking hedgehog thing, but then it's like they had all the past monsters from past riders suits, you know, to show up, and I'm like, all right, but wait a minute. This is confusing. I mean, I was like, well, yeah, so now I understand why, because I was like, oh, dumbasses, pretty much.
Yeah, and now you know why I was not looking forward to reviewing Gaim, despite me actually liking the season.
Well, again, it's like I said, you know, I've as a first time watcher, I understand the appeal of Gaim and whatnot. But again, I'm not looking at Gaim with rose tinted glasses. I'm watching it as a first time viewer. And while I can see why people love it so much, I gotta say that in terms of like a person who's watched, you know, past writers and past series, I'm like, okay, Gaim is good, but
it can be better.
But in saying that, it's good, it's great. But in saying that, I have some concerns to bring up.
And also, real quick about the whole Kabuto thing, Angel Summoner and BMX Band. It's like, yeah, you got those BMX skills, but I could summon a horde of angels to solve this problem, no problem.
Yeah, but I mean, regardless,
Kabuto's basically the angel summoner.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, yeah. So, we have again the Baron Empire. I'm like, oh, you're still using those same suits. Okay, cool. We queued that that Mai and Kota take this little boy down to again. It's like, do they just leave sewer grades or manhole covers just open for anyone to walk into in Japan? It's like, what are they doing in the underground? And we get to see the silhouette of a very stoic looking man. A man who, without him, none of this would have happened. We get to see the man,
Segata,
the
Sanshiro,
the legend that is Sagata-san. No, it's Hongo. Takashi. It's our boy Takashi Hongo, looking buff as always. Even though when he first started the show, he wasn't as buff.
You know, it's funny, like that rose tinted look of seeing Austin St. John come back in Beast Morphers.
He could have worked out a little bit. I'm going to be honest with you.
Fujioka's the real life version of that, where it's like down to the morph. It's like, but you
here's the thing with that. I'm going to say, even when they had like what was that other special that they had the when Ninja Steel, you know, when you had Kat and you had Tommy and everyone was like,
Dimensions in Danger.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the acting. Maybe it's just the company itself. But anytime that Takashi Hongo, the actor that is Takashi Hongo, whenever he shows up in a Kamen Rider series, it's always like, shut up, man. He's about to do it. When you saw the American actors do it, it's like, whatever. When you saw Austin St. John finally, after so many years of doing it's Morphin time, I felt like, can we not? Can you not do that? Even in
Ninja Steel, it's like
even in the Netflix, I even say it then. I'm like, you know, do we really need to go with that Americanized transfer? You guys like, couldn't you just like do that and then just it happens? You know, what do we need to really the close-ups of your face to do it? I mean, when you have the first Kamen Rider, oh yeah, it's over the top, you know, like, you know, do the whole thing, you know.
And it was funny about them like doing the original 1993 morphs.
Yeah, but when you hear him say it, when you hear Hakashi Tango say Henshin in the way he does, and then you hear the instrumental Kamen Rider, it's like, bro, Yes. But when you saw the Power Rangers do it, it's kind of like I'm not feeling it.
You know what felt
I
particularly
really am not.
insulting about them bringing back the 1993 Morph with their new older faces?
You can see every line.
More to it than that.
Okay, please tell me. I'm not taking jabs anymore. We're being serious.
Three words. Johnny Young Bosch.
What about my boy Johnny?
Well, I'll tell you something about our boy Johnny. 2008. 2008.
You're talking about the Overdrive.
Yes. Have you seen him morph in that one?
I kind of skipped over Overdrive.
Okay. They made a completely new morph sequence for him.
Okay.
And it was badass. It's like
because
first of all, he actually
like an explosion or something. There was like a lot of like we have the SPD Ranger, we have the Mystic Force Ranger, we have even Kira from Dino Thunder.
So check this out. So like he actually does the G-Ranger pose where it's like it's morphin' time. And then you have this whole sequence where like he's like in a desert and his suit materializes and then you got a side view where like his helmet just like whoosh.
So kind of what Dino Thunder did with their
but without the backflip.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do that? Oh, that's right, because it was owned by Disney and Saban wants to do their own thing. Which why do something new and updated, but rehash the same thing over and over again? We're tired of Mighty Morphin, Saban. I'll say it, and I don't give a damn if anyone at me. We are tired of Mighty Morphin. There are so many other teams that you could touch on that you owned, but you don't. Can we stop with the dinosaurs and maybe move it?
I wish Speed Rescue got more love because
I don't know. What were the remnants of the Machine Empire? Are there still other Machine Empires out there? Are there still remnants of them? Maybe.
Why are there two different characters both named Venjix?
Yeah. What's up with that?
Like I can understand Evok being Earth 2 Venjix, but changing his name.
It's the same one. It's just that again, can you really kill an AI?
But what's the deal with the other Venjix from the moon? From Forever Red?
Oh my god. Holy shit. I just got that. And that was before RPM. That was way before RPM. So are you telling me that Doc K did not create it? Maybe it kind of just has been like the ghost of Starscream been floating around and just finally just inhabited this little girl's laptop and just there you go?
That would have been more interesting than what we ended up with. But then again, it would be retroactively a repeat of Evok though, because the thing about Evok is that it's like you got Venjix from Earth 2 that Dr. K created, sort of being an imaginary, like an AI imaginary friend for Nate, while he was like trying to make the Morphex like technology and stuff, but it's all a ploy for him to like infect the actual Morphex technology, which would eventually turn into Evok. But it's like, it would have been interesting if somehow we got answers to why do we have this character who looks like Shadowborg named Venjix, and then coincidentally in Earth 2, Dr. K creates a computer virus also named Venjix.
We don't, and we never will. We never will.
See, I remember in 2012 we had debates about the whole like Catherine falling in that waterfall scene from the Turbo movie, and Catherine Sutherland actually had to show up to like put an end to that discussion.
Yeah.
But at least we resolved it.
Yes. But back to the Kamen Riders.
Yes.
So yeah,
Fujioka, like he owns that scene. And yes, someone took audio footage from Team 4-Star and dubbed it over this very scene in the movie where Takashi Hongo, using the voice of Vegeta, says, "You look like a fruit." And I don't mean a homosexual, I mean you look like a literal fruit.
well, he didn't even see him transform. They kind of just ran, and I'm like, wow. It took the original Kamen Rider to beat a group of these things. It took Dime an entire movie and a team of Sentais to help defeat.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Well, yeah. So they go and they run off, and apparently, well, here comes our porcupine rocker-looking dude.
Mm-hmm.
Who declares himself to be like the big bad of the underground empire, which he's not. He's not.
Mm-hmm.
But he shows up with all of these other guys, and I'm like, okay, 1970s called. They want their monsters back.
Huh.
Look, we got a tiger with cannons on his back. We got a random miscellaneous animal crossed with a blender on him. Like, yeah, that's totally 1970. That's totally the 80s type of kaijin right there.
Mm-hmm.
Only for like, but here's the thing. Finally, Gaim decides to get off his ass and transforms to save Mine, the little boy, and then Baron just shows up out of nowhere. And
yeah, I exist.
I exist. I'm like, oh look, a strong enemy. What are you, Baron? Like, are you like? Are you trying to be like this world's Vegeta? I'm like, I only want to fight strong fighters. Like, what you just showed up out of no, like you could have just like shown up to help, but no, you just fight because it's a strong opponent. Are they? Because I'm like, compared to what you got, these guys should be no problem. And then Takatora and Michi show up out of nowhere, and I'm like,
unmorphed,
and they both know, and I'm like, wait a minute, aren't you two? Well, more so you, Michi. Still mad at you. Okay, still mad at you.
Yeah, and they have to find a tower, which is not Yggdrasil.
Yeah, are you not like? Are you not in bad with Koda? Why are you gonna save him? Don't you want him to die, Michi? But like, oh no, Takatora wants to save him. I'm like, oh, I guess because Big Brother wants to save him, I'll save him too. I'm like, Michi. For goodness gracious, Michi!
You hate your brother's guts.
And yet, I'm like, but fuck canonicity. That does have nothing to do. And it's like, yeah, they're not even part of the damn movie. They're just there and then they disappear. Except for Baron, it's like, yeah, they were just there and they just disappeared afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to see General Shadow come back.
Oh yeah, no, seeing all these old General show, you know, and especially like you gotta have a love for the old like Sentai and Kamen Riders, how they used to do their enemies, you know, like
General Shadow is one of my favorite designs for like a main villain.
Remember,
and I would even go as far as to say that I feel like Heath Ledger's Joker was inspired by General Shadow.
Yeah, the face kind of does look like it.
Yeah,
but it's kind of like let's remember the Jacka Gold Ranger team up movie of how those guys, like, these are the bad guys. These are the I swear, like they're just a bunch of cosplayers, very bad cosplayers, mind you. But still, I'm like, these are the people we're supposed to find threatening. And yet in this movie, kind of also made sense because it's an homage to the past writers, you know?
Yeah, and then out of nowhere, some old dude shows up and he's got one of these.
Oh yeah, who is this mysterious old man? Batteries must have died.
Giant skeleton fruit. His name is literally 15.
Have a skeleton fruit.
Yeah.
Must not be very tasty, but high in calcium.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And like, okay, so I need to just. I mentioned before that there are 4 Riders of the Apocalypse.
Uh,
Yeah, we already met Bujin Gaim, who's the Rider of Famine.
go
Now,
figure.
now we meet our second one, 15, the Rider of Death.
Really? That's death?
That's Death.
Wow. You're not very subtle, are you?
Oh, wait till we get to Pestilence.
I'm just like, well, okay, so because there are 15 Heisei riders, including Gaim, there has to be a 15. I'm like, okay.
And there's 15 Showa Riders because the 3 riders who had V cinemas in 1992 through 1994 technically count as the Showa era, even though the Showa era ended in 1989.
Yeah. It's all just continuity. I'm like, all right, I'll bite. Okay.
Yep.
So what is 15's goal?
We don't know. But he was after this kid.
Even if I watch this movie again, I'm like, he's just there. Like
He's just there. Like we saw him in the spring break special.
Yeah, he's just there. Like he just wants to cause trouble, and it's like, okay, like his battles took place with Decade and Fies and even Ichigo. It was only an afterthought that Gaim was like he's a Gaim enemy. Like this could have been just like one of those universal time hopping like rider enemies that just like, oh yeah, we made him just to be like a forever lingering threat to any Kamen Rider later on, you know? But no, he's a Gaim enemy. Which I'm like, you know what? As much as that transformation looks metal as fuck, dude, I'm not liking the design.
It looks like they tried really hard to rip off Kamen Rider Skull, and then took bits
and a lot more going on than 15 does. I swear.
Despite having a much simpler design.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like less is more. Look at Skull. Skull is so fucking perfect, even though you can't make a cup of coffee to save his life.
Yeah, like freaking 15 looks like they combined elements from both Skull, Silvera, and Kurokage to some extent.
Yeah, but it's that whole thing where I'm just like, okay, so 15 is here. What's he gonna do? He just starts kicking ass because next thing you know, Decade shows up. And Decade is like, you know, telling Kota about like, oh yeah, no, I'm doing an investigation. Oh no, I'm sorry. They get their ass kicked, but then they go save the boy, and then they go to the juice bar, to the Angel Grove juice bar where owner is, along with his very spacey secretary or hostess, only to find Decade eating the biggest, most bougiest looking fruit salad in the shape of his helmet.
Yeah. That was
like,
kind of weird.
Yeah, fully yourself. Again, I didn't meet Decade at this past convention. Did not talk to him.
I wish I could have.
I wish I could have, but you know.
But what's weird is that we find like a tiny Narutake. Like really tiny.
Yeah. And the thing is that again, just like with Gaim, I did not bother because I'm like, I have not seen Decade, so I only know very limited about Decade.
Okay, so let me explain to you Narutake. His very purpose is to be a hater. That's all he is.
You're talking about Narutake Sensei, Narutake-san.
Yes.
Yes. Oh no, I know Narutake. I know him. I looked him up. I know exactly who he is. Although I kind of like, are you like the doctor of the riders? Because again, you know, even though you're more of a Decade level of like protagonist or antagonist or whatever the hell you are, you're kind of like, you know, you've shown up numerous amounts of times in different properties,
and you pay off almost never.
Yeah. He like, you know, he's just saying like, hey, you know, blah blah. You have to find the other writers because the Showa writers ain't gonna help you because the Showa writers don't like you guys for some reason. Why don't they like us?
They don't explain in the spring break special. They don't explain it here.
They don't even say that. Like, why do they hate us? We don't know. They just don't. You kids and your
Gimmick
your
toys.
you
And your lack of
toys
scarves.
and your long running series that have no points and your Gundam style dance moves and all that
And,
crap.
and your side forms and your final forms, and then
Your
Shigeru's
movie
like, wait,
forms.
hold on, I have a final form. Shut up, Shigeru. The
Yeah,
point is,
I'm like, yeah, no, is there I'm like, yeah, even current Kamen Rider, even myself, I'm like, you know what? I like this rider. I just do not acknowledge anything that's not in the main canonicity of the show. But regardless, I'm like, yeah, no, time for cameos. And cameos
yeah,
we got because
yes.
we meet up with our you gotta be hard boiled to appreciate this guy. We get to meet
Yeah,
up with Double.
Shotaro Hidari. He's like, I need to find
Funny,
a lost dog, a lost turtle, and a lost cat. I know
okay,
it's weird.
I'm
If you
not
help
okay.
me find all three
I want to be anal
pets.
about this. That's a tortoise, not a turtle. That's a tortoise.
I'm going off of what the
How can you
subtitle said.
tell? Turtles are aquatic. Did you see the legs on this thing? It's a tortoise. They are thick, stumpy elephant legs. It is a tortoise with a cute little bow and top hat, pink ribbon. I'm like, oh, that's adorable. Why are you going to the lake, darling? Why are you going into water? Unless you're thirsty, but I'm like, why? But we have to have Baron team up with Double because they got to go find these lost animals. And I'm like,
I appreciate that, like that we got a brief moment with Kaido and Tsukasa because hey, look, they have matching aesthetic.
Yeah, they do. They really do.
I'd be really pissed if they didn't have like the two of them together for even a brief moment because
I was kind of upset that well, not really upset. I was kind of bummed that we didn't see my boy Philip, but then I know why he's not there. Even mentioning him, I'm like, that's bull, man.
Behind the scenes, the actor's no longer with the agency and whatnot. But on screen, basically, this takes place before the final episode of W, where like
because it's just Joker. It's just not Cyclone. It's just Joker. So I'm like,
and there could have been a workaround for this. They could have just took a page from the actual manga. The one that Shin Kamen Rider, the movie, took from.
Yeah.
And just upload Philip's consciousness into the Cyclone memory.
Hell, you could have had it like an AI or something, because Philip technically but I mean, again, we're not writers on this movie. But yeah, and then cue another here. And here's the connecting point from our last review, ladies and gentlemen. It's our boy, best dog boy. It's Takashi Inoue. It's best
at the laundromat.
Oh yeah, still at that same laundromat, which I'm like, Takumi, you didn't give a damn about laundry,
but now
you do.
But see, because now his hands are stained in blood, so he needs to wash them by doing laundry.
I thought you were dying. How's that going for you? How's that going? Because, I mean, you look great for someone who's dying. But there we be. Because I'm like, yeah, only for him to drive off because he tells Dickade, I'm not getting involved. I'm like, wait a minute. Did someone die? Was it Keitaro? Was it Mari? And then he gets
I wish.
Oh my.
Not because I hate those characters, but because it would have made more sense.
It makes more sense than who he was grieving for. And I'm like, what? Why? And I'm okay, whatever. Anyway, so, before we get to that, he drives off and he gets assaulted by the Baron Empire.
And
only for him, like, I'm like, okay, guys, Dickade is here. He's kicking ass and taking names. Takumi, what are you doing? Why are you not transforming? And he's just like kind of like I can't. I get. Why are you? What was it? Mari? Was it Keitaro? Was it Kaido? Was it Yuka? Was it who?
What was it? Was it Shuji?
Was it Shuji? No.
Was it Rena?
Again, the reason again,
it's like I love how we're like listing off all these minor characters.
I know we're gonna get there, but he doesn't do it. Decade winds up getting his ass kicked again by 15, only for like it to just okay, yeah, we're done. Decade gets his ass kicked. Takumi leaves, but then he goes to a ramen shop, and I'm like, so
doing its old Nekujita thing.
Yeah. It's like, are we still on that? Are you still like, I can't eat this, it's too hot, but you couldn't eat it because it's too cold. So
well, to be fair, Paradise Regained, he's still a Nekujita. So.
I know, but still, only for some random dude to come in and hold the place hostage, and I'm like, there's a rider in here, isn't there? It's not just him, is it? Mm-hmm. And yeah, it is. There is another rider, a doctor, kind of trying to
Jin.
He Uncle Ben's the situation. He kind of de-escalates it to the point where we have a heartwarming moment about adults and the future of children and blah blah blah.
If anyone earned the right to be emo, it's Kisuke.
Have we gotten to that point yet?
Have we gotten to reviewing Kamen Rider X?
No. Why? No. Well, I mean, like, why the writers kind of don't like the Heisei writers? No, we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, we haven't got there yet. They still don't really like go into it.
No. We're not getting into it now because I got a bit for it. But we find out that this doctor is a writer, and he also has this young girl with him whose name is Mari.
Coincidence?
Coincidence? I think not.
It absolutely is, though.
But the thing is that so he doesn't know yet. We don't know yet because it hasn't happened yet. Mm-hmm. But it cue like this whole thing where we're saving someone who got drunk. Yes, people get drunk in these shows. Very much so. They drink a lot.
And then he smashed a bottle.
Yeah, and for them to save him, and then the doctor tells Takumi, like, what was it like saving a life? And it's like, oh, I've saved many lives, but I've also taken many lives. And this is where so we get this flashback, a small blink and you'll miss it, of the horse orphanage fighting Kaiser. Of course that happened many times, but when did it happen on a beach?
Well, there was literally the one time when it actually happened, where where Kiba snaps him out of it.
Oh yeah, that's right. But this whole thing is
here's the part where it gets weirder.
Yeah,
because also on the beach is Takumi. Fighting the king. When did the two of you get there? How did the two of you get there?
I don't fucking know.
Like, is this a decade version? No, it can't be, because in the decade version, they're all in high school.
I don't know. I really don't know, because at the same we get this whole thing. I'm like, the reason why Takumi doesn't transform is because it's because of Misato, of all people. So,
first of all, I'm sad. Like, I feel satisfaction seeing him die.
Oh yeah, no, I love seeing Misato die. It's one of the greatest things that happens in Phase.
Yeah. It's like, and if it wasn't enough, we get to see it 4 times.
Yeah, 4 times he dies.
Yeah, and this is the 4th time. This is the 4th version we're actually discussing.
And it's like, yeah, apparently he died, and then he is literally cussing out Inoue.
He's like, you have nothing to live for, and yet I'm the one who dies. I'm like,
why do you get to live, but I get to die? And I'm like, because you're a dumbass, that's why. And don't
you're
look
an
at
asshole.
me that way, Misato. I've told you, don't ever look at me that way.
First of all, Takumi does have something to live for.
He
If
does.
nothing else.
Yeah,
Nothing
he has
else.
several
Laundry.
things to live for. Yeah, he has several things to live for. Misato, your reasons for living are bullshit. Because there is
Even
no
Mari being
anchor.
his reason to live is
Mari
BS.
is
Because
your reason to live, and yet Mari doesn't even acknowledge your existence. I think it's
more
kind of
importantly, you endanger her more than any other character does. Like last week, we literally went over this when Mai was like trying to warn everyone about Yggdrasil. And how
look,
does Michi
go
try to
to my
protect her?
reaction when I freaking was yelling at Michi. That is Misato level of anger right there.
Mhm.
That is
Yeah.
Misato
And
level.
then what happened?
And you know what? It's like, and I'm like, wait a minute, Takumi. This is why you're not gonna transform. This is why you're not involved. Well, first off, it's not your fight, but again, Keitaro, freaking like anyone else could have been a reason for you not to, but it had to have been Misato.
Heck, Kiba would have made more sense.
That makes so much sense. No, it doesn't.
Like even in
Mari
Paradise Lost,
away,
they established how Takumi and Kiba were effectively best friends. And like Takumi took on Kiba's legacy, wanting to fulfill promise he made for Kiba, wanting to live Kiba's dream.
Kiba had died, if Mari had died, that would have been so much more. But it's Misato, it's Kaiza.
Even if Yuka dying.
Oh my god, no, don't bring up my baby dying.
Because at least like, you know, he had that hesitation thing back in episode 15.
Keitaro, don't date. What was her full name? Yuka
Osada.
Don't date Miss Osada. And it's just like, oh no. I got a tear coming out. I freaking remember when Yuka died. But
I miss Yuka.
I miss her so
She
much.
was the best
Leilani, come back to us.
It's like there are so many characters that Takumi could have more likely have felt bad about letting down.
But it was Misato.
It's like if Jonochi turned into an Invis, Koda getting sad about it would make sense.
Yeah,
Austin turning into Invis.
Yeah. But no, it's no. But he winds up manning up. Where's our boy Alphonse Pierre? Mm-hmm. He manned up because Mari, not his Mari, but little girl Mari, the ex's Mari, was in danger. Mm-hmm. And he finally manned up.
He decides to save her.
Only for there to be an altercation between him and the Doctor, which the Doctor is Kamen Rider X.
Yeah. Go
figure. And again, this is one of those things I'm like, who's going to win, X or Fies? And I'm like,
we don't see.
It should be Fies. I mean, look at what Fies has, even though he doesn't really use it a lot, but still, no. X winds up kicking his ass and just says how weak he is, and he just walks off. And I'm like,
because he's not fully convicted, like he will be later.
Yeah, but almost like, yeah, well, yeah. I mean, for a Fies segment, yeah, that's totally.
But you know what's really interesting is that what's really interesting is both X and Fies are both the. Well, no, not really. I miscounted, but it's like. X is the fifth writer from the Showa era because Nigo and Rider Man both are both in 71 and V3.
Yeah.
Fies has the 5 motif.
As the 5 motif, but he's the 4th.
Yeah. But what's really interesting is X is a Roman numeral. So
For
it's a Roman numeral for 10.
For 10, which is divisible by 5.
But if you add 5,
By 5. Yeah.
yeah, it will 10 plus 5.
15.
Yeah, and here's where it gets crazier. Takami's henshin code is 5, 5, 5.
Stand by.
When you add that together,
It's 15. Illuminati confirmed.
Epophilia wins again.
But yeah, no, we cue back to, what do we cue back to? I forget.
Just a decade trying to find a turtle.
So Decade and Double are like
You found
awing this tortoise. Not turtle, it's a tortoise. So cute. I love that tortoise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, yeah, where's Baron? He's drying off. He kind of fell into the lake.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then Shotaro provides information that there's a woman waiting for her kid in a lighthouse.
Oh boy, this woman looks familiar. Has she been in anything in the past?
She does look familiar.
She looks familiar. She really does.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so apparently this is the little boy's mother that she wants him back because apparently the little boy ran away because or he died, but also his dad is dead too.
Yeah.
So it's like, so the kid's dead, but he's not aware that he's dead, but he's waiting for his dad to come back who is dead, but he himself is dead, but he can't see his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Just cross over, god damn it. What the hell? But we can't do that yet because we still got an hour left of the movie. Yeah, we only get to the 30-hour mark, to the 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We're only half an hour in.
Yep.
But yeah, so what else happened? Nothing much, really, until finally. I mean, we do get to see the Baron Underground Empire and all of its greatness, seeing all these past villains and monsters in the underground, like Shocker, Neo Shocker, like every single one. They're all there. Even past Heisei monsters are there too. I'm like, all right, this looks cool. This looks better than what the Spring movie gave us.
Mm-hmm.
And so, cue back to the movie.
Okay. So this is very interesting because the actress who played the mom, Akiko Kinagata, didn't appear in anything tokusatsu related before this movie. But she would later appear in the film Osama Sentai King Oger Adventure Heaven.
Then I must have seen her somewhere else.
Which means that she, basically, she was the previous ruler of
what was
what's called?
What was her career before this? Does it say?
I don't know. But basically, she was Hachi Oger before Kaguragi was.
Okay.
Okay,
I have seen this woman somewhere before, and I'm not going to say because, again, Japan is a little bit more... is a little bit more lenient with actors and actresses despite their pasts or their current profession.
I'll say so Akiko Hinagata's husband was Kamen Rider Garen.
That was in
Kamen Rider Blade.
Again, I've not seen Blade. Don't know. I don't know.
And apparently she voiced herself in Crayon Shinchan.
Okay, so she's also a voice actress.
Okay. Yeah, she has a very short filmography. I guess
she's somebody. Because to get on Crayon Shinchan to do all that stuff, that means you were something.
Yeah.
You can't do.
And she also did radio commercials for Nissin Foods Ramen.
Have you seen those Schwarzenegger ramen commercials?
Have
Those
you
are
seen
like
the Fujioka ramen commercial?
those are
The UFO one?
But yeah, so where are we now? We are at a point that I want to say the world is getting torn apart from the bottom up.
Yeah,
Because,
it kind of
because
is
we're
like
getting
freaking.
like Inception levels of like BS happening now.
Yeah, like there's a part where even Gaim uses his strawberry lock seed as a rugby ball.
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah. And General Jark shows up, and then we get
Yeah.
an appearance from Black and Black RX.
Oh yeah, that's right. Those how?
Honore Dikedo.
I'm like, wait, they're both talking, but they're two different voices. I'm like, wow.
Basically, they are both Kotaro Minami.
They're both, yeah, I know.
They're both the same guy from two different dimensions because somehow Decade willed it so. It's like after Decade, it's like you got two separate Kotaro Minamis where one becomes Black and the other becomes Black RX.
Yeah, but in the continuity, it's all the same. Like Black RX is the sequel to Black, right?
Yeah, like originally, yes. Black becomes Black RX.
Yeah. But and then that becomes Master Rider.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that.
We only talk about Dragon Knight. And incidentally, who's there to fight them but the Black Rider known as Joka?
Joka! Yeah.
I know what's really appropriate is how, like, when he's Cyclone Joker, he's black and green, just like Black RX. But when he's by himself, he's Joker. He's just black.
I'm like, yeah, you could totally tell that Black and Black RX kind of had an inspiration with Double with how he just basic Black Joker, obviously, because it's like it's so simplistic.
Yeah, and what's funny is that in W's very first appearance ever was from the movie All Rider versus Die Shocker, where Decade is fighting Shadow Moon, and like he shows up right between them, and Decade's like a Green Rider, and Shadow Moon's like a Black Rider.
Yeah,
kind of like red hat, green hat.
Yeah, but apparently Baron shows up to help out Double, and they wind up beating the two blacks.
Yeah, one brawler versus like.
But here comes Amazon and who else?
And Super One.
And Super One, and that just continues on for
some. I feel like if anything, Super One should have been the one fighting Forze instead of Sky Rider because they're both astronauts.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, continue on with the whole shtick.
Yeah, and then it's Decade versus 15, which should be the most interesting part of the movie.
But it wasn't.
No, just a bunch of grandstanding. And because he has that Heisei lock seed, he could use armor from like other Heisei riders.
Yeah,
such as Decade, Wizard, Forze, and my most powerful one, Gaim.
Yeah, this is a Gaim movie. Did we mention that? It's a Gaim movie. Whatever. And 15 he just leaves again. He just disappears. It's like only for
only for Gaim to show up with Kachidoki arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes just about as you expected. And like this is the part where I generally check out when it comes to Taisen movies because at this point it's just random fighting. Entertaining
as it is, it's like, bro, come on.
It's like I appreciate the stunt choreography. I am a stunt choreography guy. But it's like, where is the beef? Well, and I mean, where's the literal beef? Like, because I see like the bread, the lettuce, the ketchup, but here's
the beef. And after all that's said and done, we have Ichigo, V3, and Nichigo show up, and along with mass, like like Rider Man and all the other ones.
Basically, the Magnificent Seven Riders.
Yeah, and they just start, it's like there's this whole thing about like for some reason they have to ask them why are they not teaming up to fight the
Because
Baron.
we don't trust you, Heisei Riders, because Boomer versus Millennials. That's why.
Pretty much, and I was just like, and I was kind of like, wait a minute, and I finally was like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah, there's a brief cameo from a General Schwartz from the Shadowliner.
It wasn't fine, mein Führer. No
Yes,
joke. I was like, what are you doing here?
It's
Because
like, oh, the Shadowline is distracting Deno from interfering. I'm like,
yeah, did we forget that we also had
what would be really nice if freaking General Schwartz showed up in the actual spring break special where you actually had the Tokyugers.
Yeah, but no, you didn't. But the thing is that so before we get that whole thing with General Schwartz, the Riders pretty much the Showa Riders say that the Heisei Riders
are causing the problems.
Are emo.
Mm-hmm. Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I cannot sleep. I cannot dream.
Okay. Yeah. They're emo.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
Like,
I did.
Seriously, it's like, really?
Because they're emo?
Okay, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Hold on. I'm gonna need to take like center stage for a second. Hold on, give me a second. Okay. Listen to this. Very first 2 episodes of Kamen Rider X. Kisuke Jin, his fiance, turned out to be a member of the government of darkness. She shot him in the back multiple times. She mortally wounded his father.
Yeah.
Then his father, while dying, integrated the perfector technology into his son's body, making him a cyborg. And yes, he has the whole like existential crisis, like I'm no longer human, because like I accidentally crush a little kid's hand if I try to shake his hand. And his father, while dying, uploads an algorithm of his mind to an underwater base, so that after he dies, the algorithm, like freaking Alfred from Batman and Robin, is like, oh, I'm still here with you in spirit in the form of this computer. If you ever feel troubled, come talk to me.
Yeah.
Only for in the second episode, the moment Kisuke has an existential crisis, mind you, because he's a cyborg. It's like, computer or a copy of Dad. I feel unhuman. Like, what do I do? It's like, you are a whiny emo brat. That's it. I'm going to get some smokes. I know I'm a computer, but I need to get some cigarettes. Definitely. So then the underwater base self-destructs.
I am like that because again, there's more to it, but pretty much that is the gist of the whole thing, is that because the Showa Riders, the Heisei Riders deal more with death and loss and really don't get over it. I'm looking at you, Takumi. So not cool, dude. But again, it's like, yeah, you're right, because every single the writers I know, for the most part, they do deal with loss of loved ones or family members that cause them to go down this path, But because of that, because they cannot get over the emo-ness, it's leaving a pathway open for the Baron Underground Empire to come up, because apparently all these guys are dead, lingering souls that are just underground that want to come back. It's pretty much what Tai Kubo did for Bleach in that special one-off a couple years back about the Hell Arc, where it's like pretty much the gates of hell are slowly ripping open, and the people that
I love that. You mean the fourth movie?
Yeah, that, but it's also he came out with a special, which is apparently another Bleach series that he's going to do that deals with Ichigo as an adult and his kid, because apparently they didn't do a special thing that when the Soul Reapers died, that apparently the gates of hell are slowly opening again, but every single person who died is coming back, but they're fighting for hell. And that's a big no-no. That's a big no. It's the same thing with the Baron Underground. The Baron Underground is pretty much the like hell itself. It's just that, like in like Ragnarok or the End of Days, the dead shall rise and walk the earth, and humanity will be their victims and slaves. That's pretty much it. But because these Heisei riders are so, where are you? I'm so sorry. It's like, yeah, you're basically opening the door for them. Grow the fuck up, you bunch of like.
Also, it does feel kind of weird that you have 6 of the 7 Magnificent 7 riders.
Yeah.
But instead of stronger, you have black.
Yeah. God knows why.
It's like that, watching that scene from Megaforce where like you get those 4 pre-G Ranger suits.
Yeah.
And then you have Mighty Morphin Red.
Yeah. But the thing is that like, yeah, so because of that Kota and Decade and they're like, you know, fuck this, you know, but we have feelings and blah blah blah. I'm like, this is such a boomer versus like millennial. Like it is such like, you know, like we didn't have feelings back in our day. We just drank and got abusive. You guys have too many feelings.
We jumped off of motorcycles and kicked cyborg Nazis.
And cue the fight again. There's a battle between them only for that to be interrupted because now here comes all the bad guys. They caught the little boy and they put the little boy in the tower, which looks like a giant Lego piece. And they have a specific slot built for the kid. And for it to come up only for the main bad guy to reveal himself that he's not the main bad guy because he just wanted to get the bad guy to the surface. It's
Ryu Murasame, literally the guy who only had 1 episode.
Yeah.
1 episode, albeit a 45-minute episode. But according to Kamen Rider O's, it counts as 1 whole episode.
Yep. He is a Kamen Rider, which I'm like, yeah, you're right. Where has he been this whole time? Like, oh, he was the bad guy, or he was the bad guy. I'm
here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you,
we don't care.
Jerry.
It could have been anybody. It could have been Narataki for all we know. It should have been, but it's like
it would have made more sense.
It would have made more sense. It was like, yeah, let me throw this shuriken to destroy the machine, which I'm like, man, when they say made in Japan, they sure ain't giving us our best anymore. Because that thing just gets annihilated only for like, oh no, it's a fake, the entire base, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, guys, let's wrap it up. Like,
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Seriously.
Cue the Star Wars level of TIE fighters versus X-Wings. Because, oh my God, literally, I was like, if we have a trench scene, I swear to God. I mean, every rider's here. They're fighting down. They're fighting up. You have Ols and Decade and all of them going down doing the trench run.
Oh, you even have Decade turning Agito into a hoverboard.
Yeah, what the?
When you watch Decade, you'll understand.
So yeah, it's this whole thing, but it boils down to X, Wizard, and Fies, which I get X and Fies, but why Wizard? Should it have not been? Well, Decade is up there saving the kid, I guess, but
why can't it be Gaim? Because it should be his movie.
But again, like they're about to, you know, Wizard is about to use his Infinity Axe and X is about to use his final form only for Fies to stop them because he wants to save Misato.
And I love how Kiski's like, listen here, you whippersnapper. my dad died turning me into a cyborg. And then even his AI clone would rather die than be my dad.
Yeah.
No amount of Long Beach Griffy videos could handle the trauma I had to deal with.
And here is the sugar on the cream, as they say. We get the ghost of Misato's past showing up. And I would imagine maybe we're going to have some kind of closure, some type of heartwarming. No. No, no, no. This is the guy you're trying to save? This is the guy you're saving. Not Mori, not Keitaro, not Yuka, not Kiba, not anybody. This guy who's
your pointless ass is going to die so I can live, right? You're going to die for my sake.
No. I'm like, I hated you in Forza Misato. I was like, I have never had such I never want to see this character again. I don't want to hear of him. I don't want ever to speak of him. And yet they just keep on adding to that.
And yet he will eventually
come back again.
Because where we left off,
just like
he's now the president of Smart Brain.
And a cyborg. What the fuck is Smart Brain? Seriously, we don't even know. But regardless, I'm like, he finally is like, yeah, what am I doing? Why do I give a shit about you? And again, Wizard, X, and now Fives in their final forms. We finally get to see burst mode in this freaking movie, and it was used longer than in the actual show. They wind up taking out the base from the inside while Decade actually saved the kid from his Lego piece removed and to get him out of there, which I'm like, cool. Cue the party on the forest moon of Endor because we just won. No, wait, we're not done yet. What do you mean? There's 8 minutes left. So that's a wrap-up time. No, we still got to deal with young versus old.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and this. Oh yeah. Have you forgotten the name of this movie? Wait. Have you forgotten the name of this movie? It's called Superhero Taisen featuring
Super Sentai. Because again, apparently when they did this whole thing, we create a dinosaur skull-looking CGI monster that even the 98 Godzilla looks better than. Yes, I said it. And apparently the Tokujers showed up sometime there, but then Decade is also there because he's fighting the Freightliners too, only to transform, and we have a giant robotic Deno, but then he gets knocked out because apparently Kyoryu Red Kingu, our boy Kingu, is there too.
King shows up.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you,
we don't care.
No one cares. Oh, we do care because we get a special toy to go with our Tokuger toys that are about to come out soon.
Gabu, gabu, gabu.
And Decade gets demoted to legs.
No, Deno gets demoted to legs.
Oh, sorry. Deno gets demoted to legs, which I'm like.
But on the other side, we got
this is a Kamen Rider movie.
Yeah, we got a giant robot fight. So then finally, Takatora knows. Takatora finally knows.
Where? Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's right. Michi and Takatora are here too. What? Okay.
And
but again, this was before that. So if you knew already that this was going to happen, why the hell were you dismissing it in the spring movie?
Remember, the spring movie canonically takes place before this movie.
Okay, fuck it. Shut me up.
But again, why did they air this film before the spring break? It makes no sense.
I don't know. If I had rum, I would already be plastered by now. But yeah,
I don't have any substance of any kind, and I already feel plastered.
They wind up beating the dinosaur skull thing with like the Gorgon from Stranger Things type of mouth, or like I guess the Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. They beat it with the power of Deno's legs and all the other, I guess the other Taurus's, the other
It's
trains.
really weird is how like it's like
none of them.
Deno calls himself the founding father of train heroes. I'm like, Go 5 would like to have a word with you.
Yeah, I'm like, there was trains before you, Deno. Don't even
go. Geigar would like to have a word with you.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me pull out my invisible gun. Gao Geigar would like to have a few words with you.
But yeah, no, it yeah. Which I was like, oh yeah, that's right. And so yeah, that's it. But then we go into the final battle, which I'm like, there's 8 minutes left, guys. Can we wrap it up, please? I mean, I'm enjoying this, but this, I mean, I get more excitement watching people LARP in the middle of a park than I'm watching you guys like in like a small section of a nature preserve.
So before we continue, there's something that we need to discuss about marketing leading up to this movie.
Oh man.
Much like Civil War, they hyped up the fact that this movie is going to be about the 15 Heisei Riders versus the 15 Showa Riders. No plot beyond that. You'd think that would be the main focus of the entire film.
Yeah, you'd think. You would think.
And also leading up to it, there is a phone number that you would call to vote on which side would win. Kind of like Jason Todd. Like, call this number to save Jason Todd. Call this number to let the Joker kill him with a crowbar.
And I mean, all right, cool. And the two endings are actual, like that you can find them. They are there. But when you look
like them, literally while I was watching the movie right now, I pulled up two separate devices to watch both endings.
Is it even a difference, in all honesty?
There's only 30 seconds of different footage.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. And it's not like at the very cutoff point where you get the two separate endings. At the very cutoff point where you get the two separate endings. And you just watch that 3.5 remaining minutes, that like side to side. There's only about 30 seconds of different footage, and it's not even at the beginning of those 3.5 minutes, and it's not even at the end. It's literally just Gaim and Ichigo about to go at it, and like. Let's just say the Heisei ending is better than the Showa ending. And just to spare you, I will explain both endings. Mind you, the difference is only 30 seconds of footage. I will explain both versions of the 30 seconds of footage. I will first discuss... Actually, which one do you want me to do? Do you want me to do the Showa ending or the Heisei ending? By the way, Heisei ending is the superior one. Just letting you know.
Let's just go with Showa, then go with Heisei.
Okay, in the Showa version, like freaking, like Gaim is about to charge up his attack. It's like 100 to 1,000, 10,000. You know, like a special attack.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just suddenly and Ichigo's about to like brace for his attack. It's like, and then Gaim just suddenly stops. It's like, I forfeit. You win. And Naruto says, "Oh, Gaim understands Ichigo's power." Now the Heisei ending. Ichigo winds up a rider kick. Gaim embraces for it. He knocks Gaim like down on the floor really hard. And just when it looks like he's about to kill Gaim, he's like, I forfeit. And then Narutaki is like, oh, Ichigo realizes that Gaim tried to protect this little flower like Black War Greymon. And so he realizes that he wants to protect all life, and therefore he acknowledges him as a rider.
You know, I perfectly. Sometimes I don't get the Japanese with their logic of like friendship or like the birth of life and things like that. Like, how
It
is
makes more sense in Yu-Gi-Oh! Ironically.
yeah. How is it possible that like I mean they're fighting each other, both Gaim and Ichigo.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's fighting each other.
Yeah.
They're kicking each other's asses. Only for like again, I get Kota, especially you at this point, you will have not. I mean, you've kind of been like half-assing the Gaim, like the hero aspect, so I get why Ichigo might want to kick your ass, but a random little flower,
just like Black War Greymon.
I mean, you're not. I mean, you don't give a damn about like the ecosystem that you're fighting in, all the crabs and fishes and sea life that apparently live in this area. That means nothing, but this one little flower that just you guys are literally rider kicking and laser shooting and everything, an entire ecosystem. That doesn't mean jack, but because he saw this one little white or this little yellow flower, which could be a sundrop or a buttercup, could be. You realize like maybe I was wrong about you guys. Maybe you do get what it means to be riders. I'm like, that's what it is. Okay, Takashi. Okay. I get it. I totally we must love
and again, this is the better of the two endings. Because in the other ending, it's just Gaim just gives up for no reason.
I give up. That's it. I'm like, okay. That's fine. Cool, I accept your defeat. What does that prove? It just proved that you guys are right. You guys are just, again, it's just like what old people say about young people. You guys are weak, soft little bitches that you give up too easily. I'm like, that's not.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
Jerry.
Give me my safe spot, damn it. But yeah. And then they, just like in the Go Ranger versus Jacka, they have their famous lineup handshake.
Yes. So this is where the two versions merge back together. Although that deviation of footage between the two versions,
yeah,
it's a little bit longer in the Showa ending, so you kind of have to pause the Heisei version. But once it cuts to the next scene, synchronized back again, yes, they do the lineup handshake thing, and then Narutaki's like, "Oh no, Dedicado, why are you riders so cool?"
Oh yeah, that's right, yeah.
I'm like, why do you care? You were literally a member of Super Shocker.
Yeah, he was. So it's like, Narutaki, I love you, man, but what? I mean, why? Why do you care so much? But I guess you do in your own fucked up way. Just like we do when we rag on these shows, even though people love them.
Yeah. And that's when we go to the end credits. Takashi's riding off on his motorcycle. Kisuke goes back to his hospital. Takumi goes back to making laundry. Kaido is in a aquatic pet shop for some reason. The Takatora and Michi are like, so the Invis had nothing to do with anything that happened today. Yup. So we'll just pretend that none of this happened. Yup.
Okay. I get that. I'll pretend this never happened too.
Yeah, and of course Shotaro like finishes his case. Decade goes off on his journey because like, yeah, I'm looking for my place to die, but that pursuit is my reason to live, so I'm gonna keep traveling forever on that road. Daremo tabi no tachu, hontou no jibun jishin de autame. But no, that's not the song we're going with. No, we're just doing a 2014 remix of Dragon Road. Dengeki Zanempu, Dengeki Zanempu, Dragon Road wo toase, Dragon Road wo toase, Dengeki Zanempu, Dengeki Zanempu.
But that's it. And I gotta say, just like with the Hero Tyson movies, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And not a good wow. I'm not like, wow. I know, wow.
Mm-hmm.
God damn.
Mm-hmm.
I have many questions on this title. But yeah, I had fun, I guess. I mean, it's kind of like going on a ride. It's kind of like going on It's a Small World. I mean, you could try to jump off, but you got to ride it through. And afterwards, you're going, you know what? That was okay. It wasn't as bad as I made it seem, but it was okay.
Yeah. Again, I'm not typically a fan of the Tyson movies because like it focuses a lot more on the fan service of like all these characters appearing and fighting each other. But it's like, why? And you know what's really interesting is one time Jackie Chan was actually asked if he would ever join like the Expendables franchise in one of its sequels, and he was very explicit that he would never join those movies if it would have a large cast. Like if for him to join the Expendables movie, it needs to like severely lower its roster. And honestly, I totally get where he's coming from in that because like even in the first Expendables movie, that roster was massive. And with every sequel, like the roster got way bigger. Like even in the third one, you had Chuck Norris.
That's why I don't watch. I didn't watch the Expendables, and I didn't watch Fast and the Furious because I'm like, no,
and it's like after the fifth one, it's like there's no point in watching them.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Okay, you can watch the skydiving scene in the seventh one because you gotta appreciate all the work that was put into it, but definitely don't have to watch the rest of the movie. Mind you, skydiving scene, like story wise, it's stupid. And behind the scenes wise, beautifully executed. But yeah, no, the rest of the movie, I don't care for it.
No. But yeah, so scores.
This movie, I give it an 8. Honestly, I wish I would give it a higher score if it just stuck to like a smaller cast, just like how I mentioned, just like how Jackie Chan mentioned, like if it just focused on Gaim, Fies, X, Z Cross, and Decade, and no one else, that would have been serviceable. Been serviceable. Heck, I would even say that the one that we discussed for Build was a better one because there's only 6 riders to focus on. And even then, it's like certain things could have been done better because like certain characters are barely in it, but it's like
no.
The smaller the roster, the more screen time each person has to shine in.
Even though they were just in suit the majority of the time, it's like, why did we need to have the actual actors be there in demorph scenes? Like, made no sense.
Yeah,
it's like they weren't even in the
movie.
Mean,
it's great that Kisuke Jin and Ryo Murasami were actually in it because we haven't seen either of them in a long time.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Like Fujioka, yeah, like he's the original, but it's like he appeared in
for like not even a minute, and I'm like, why? Why? It's one thing if it's actually the focus of the movie, but it's like, why are they here? It makes no sense. for me, this film, these Tyson movies, they only get they get a 6 out of me. Like in general, I mean, I get it, I see it, I see the appeal. It's it's almost the same as like that whole thing in Endgame with Avengers. It's like, is this everyone? It's like, what, you wanted more? I'm like, no, we don't need any more. We don't need. It's fine. It's fine. So and again, if we had like a main focus, not like 3-4 different stories going on at the same time, I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
But again,
Yeah,
it's like
I would say with that, I would say with that, Sango did a much better job at like, focusing on the small roster. And like, mind you have every writer up to that point racing each other for a solid 20 minutes of screen time.
I mean, the whole battle itself, like the focus of this movie and the title is Heisei versus Showa. We only get maybe 6 minutes of that. Like we do get like some bickering back and forth between the two. There might have been some battles here and there, but in all honesty, if you were to put it all together, it was only maybe like 8 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes of actual writer versus writer. Everything else was just like, again, it's all fluff to fill in a hour and a half running time. We had to get this movie to 90 minutes. So,
and even then, like the movie didn't even need to be that long.
No, this could have been an hour-long TV
I
special.
literally just watched the Cure Major movie, and that was 40 minutes.
Yeah. So again, I mean, guys, let us stop with the Tyson movies. Let's stop with like, if you're gonna make a movie, make a good one. Make something that is actually interesting and something that will keep our attention. Again, nothing wrong with fan service. Fan service is fine, but again, if you're trying to hype up this movie and make it
like freaking even in the first superhero Tyson movie, I got more out of that scene where Urataros flirts with Ron than I got with the entire final fight scene where like
So again, it's like I get it, I know, I see it, I hear you, but at the same time, it's like if you had given me like one good cohesive story in this whole thing and then wrapped it up with like the actual like an actual meaningful final battle between the two, I would have accepted. I'm like, no, this is great, but instead it's like again,
15 was such a redundant villain.
I know 15 was why was it? He was just there to fuck shit up. That was it. That was the whole reason.
He was just there. It's like, we need an excuse for him to use this lock seed, so that we would have an excuse for Gaim to use this lock seed. And even then, Gaim doesn't even use all.
No.
Like 215's credit, like he showcased several different Heisei armors, but Gaim only used Ichigo.
Yeah. Well, either or. It's like it's to sell toys, it's to sell lock seeds, and mission accomplished. That's what happened. And again, this movie just gets a 6 out of me, despite seeing faces and characters that I love so much being there. I'm like, that's all. That's it. But regardless.
Actually, you make some really good points. So I'm gonna have to amend my score down to a 7 because you're right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that. It's kind of the same thing we did about with Bujin Gaimon in the last movie. It's like it was cameo the movie, which it's great to see everybody. But you didn't.
But why? Yeah. And again, the only reason I give it a slightly higher score than you do is because I actually had like existing
shit for this,
like an existing relationship with X and Z Cross because like I already watched every season of Kamen Rider beforehand, and like to your credit, look, it's good that you haven't watched any of these because. You don't have to rose-tinted glasses that I would very likely have.
Yeah.
Mind you, I try to avoid having those glasses on, but I can't assume that they're always off. But yeah, no, it's like maybe if you watch Z Cross and X beforehand, maybe you might have given it a 7 instead of a 6, like I did, but
Yeah.
I can't assume that either. But for me, it's like, yeah, like I feel like what gave that point above your score was because I actually know what Kisuke actually went through that makes him the best person to talk me out of it. But at the same time, one, I wish they showed more focus on what Kisuke went through to show what he went through. That would inevitably, which would verifiably prove that he was the right person to talk him out of it.
Yeah.
But also Basato. Really?
I
Like,
don't
if it was Kiba.
that makes no sense no matter
If it
how you
was
slice it.
Kiba, at least.
Yeah, no, I know. But what do the people have to say?
Heck, I'll even accept Sawada. Like the dude would try to kill Mario all the damn time, but like,
I know.
I
But
would
what do the
say
people have
Team
to say?
Reiwa because Zero One, Geats, and Gov are amazing. But downside is that Gotchard sucked and Revice was sub-mid.
Well, I have not seen anything of the Reiwa spoilers. You just ruined it for me. But, I'll keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Segata Sanshiro.
Again, the man is literally an unbeatable force.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Heike, I wish this one particular friend of mine, I wish he would dress up as wearing a black belt karate gi with a Kamen Rider Ichigo helmet, and I would dress up as a Texan cowboy with a Star Ninja helmet, so that he could be Kamen Rider Segata, and I would be Walker Texas Ninja. Because Fujioka versus Norse.
Oh yeah, the death battle.
Yeah. Grandpa Hongo really kicked ass. Yeah,
He always does.
The man still got it.
He still has it. Like, regardless, it's still
even 2 years later when they do the 45th anniversary, he will still have it. Honore Masato. Yes, comment of the night right here.
Right there. Right there. That's it. That's it.
Seriously, it's bad enough we have Michi Masatoing around, but now we have actual Masato back at it.
That's too much bullshit I can't handle. I don't want to.
Yeah, the one thing I look forward to tomorrow is the fact that we're back to there being only one Masato instead of two, by which I mean just Michi by himself.
So we're actually doing we're continuing our review as scheduled.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, as some of you may know, that because this particular week there is no superhero time for reasons I don't even know. I haven't seen this in November of all months. We are basically doing a triple feature tonight. So this week. So yes, instead of God, we're doing this movie, which we just finished. And instead of Boom Boom Jer, because there's no Boom Boom Jer episode, we're doing episodes 28 through 32. And yes, more tokusatsu cameos.
Yay.
And Sunday, per our usual schedule, we're moving on to the next arc after that.
God damn.
33. Yeah. Yeah, tomorrow we're finishing our third arc. Can you believe it?
We do it because you guys don't want to sit through the episodes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, typically arc on Mondays, Gav on Wednesdays, Boom Boom Jer on Thursdays, and Gaim on Sundays. But this week we have a triple Gaim smoothie, so enjoy that.
Try to be entertained by our antics. It's been a long week, we know.
Yeah.
And we try to entertain you guys as much as we can.
And the week will get longer because we're effectively doing 10 episodes. We're effectively doing 10 episodes this week.
Yep.
Yep. So,
Ugh.
yeah. But yeah, also check out our sister channel, The Buttery Show, where we do various movie reviews. And last week we did Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So, yeah, a 1994 classic that was thankfully filmed after the earthquake.
Mm.
And also, if you want to follow our personal content, where can the people find you?
Just on IG. I'm going to be seeing what I could post on there in terms of like 1 minute rags on Tokusatsu.
And you can find me on Instagram at Boken_Kabuto and on Twitch at twitch.tv/BokenKabuto. With that said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you stay safe, stay hydrated, update your immersive kids, hug your loved ones, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with more of that juicy kindness.
Gaimu.
Gaimu! Baron! Ryugen! Sangetsu! Bravo!